Welcome back to Bombastic Nation and Ting and Ting and Ting. I'm Mr. Giant and I'm back with some more vibe for you. Yes, and somebody suggested I watch this video. It's called American Cops versus British Cops. So we're going to go in here and check this out. And there is a marked difference. And I know because I'm from like a former British colony and the policemen there are similar to the way the police in England. So you know what I mean? This is going to be interesting. I'm going to give you little tidbits about being police and thing, you know what I mean? But anyway, I ain't going to keep you all holding back so long. Thank you guys for watching the videos. Go ahead and like and comment. Comment on this one for me, you know what I mean? Whatever country you in, comment on this one down below and tell me what the policemen are like in your country. You understand? I live in America right here now, you know, as you know, originally from the islands. So I could tell the difference, you know, and I give like some vibes and thing, you know what I mean? Let's go ahead and YouTube and simmer.
This video is sponsored by Terminator Genisys Future War. Today we're going to compare American cops and British cops, but for a second, let's imagine we are living in a future and machines are fighting humans. With Terminator Genisys Future War is the first mobile game where you get to choose whether you want to fight for the humans, the resistance, or robots, also known as Skynet. If you are kind of like me and not easily challenged, then this game is for you. It doesn't consume all your time, but hanging out in the evenings and playing with your friends is super fun. I personally play on Skynet's side. Download the game using the links in the description and you will get 150 coins that will boost your in-game progress by 100%. We have a huge enemy invasion planned for later this week, and you should definitely join us. Now, let's move on to the main part of our video. Whatever we might think about the police, one thing that's certain is that we are fascinated by them. As early as the 50s, the police crime drama started filling our TV screens, and long before that, Arthur Conan Doyle and Edgar Allan Poe planted the seeds for the genre of detective fiction. The good cop, the bad cop, or even the rebel with a cause cop kind of shows in the 70s have evolved into more realistic series such as The Wire, which give us a more nuanced version of police work and those that do it. In real life, dashcam footage from police vehicles has also become a staple in the online content we consume. Today we are going to concentrate on real-life cops, and perhaps the two most famous, sometimes infamous police forces in the world in this episode of the infographic show, American Cops versus British Cops. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so that you can be part of our notification squad. Prior to what we consider an actual police force, the ancients had many ways to police the polis, or city. Slaves in ancient Greece would handle the rowdy crowds when tempers flared, while the Romans might set the Praetorian Guard on out-of-control riders. Through the ages, there have been myriad ways to maintain public order, and also some pretty gruesome punishments for those that breach the accepted rules. In the UK, it wasn't until 1749 when a judge named Henry Fielding created what was called the Bow Street Runners, the first time Britain had anything what we can associate with today's police force. As British cities grew at a rapid pace under the Industrial Revolution, so did crime. And so on September 29, 1829, the Metropolitan Police Service was formed in London, and it is said to be the first modern police force ever created. The man behind it, Sir Robert Peel, explained why England needed cops. I want to teach people that liberty does not consist in having your house robbed by organized gangs of thieves and in leaving the principal streets of London in the nightly possession of drunken women and vagabonds. Why were they nicknamed Bobbies? Well, after their founder, Robert. As you know, the USA was noted for its Wild West outlaws. One of those was Billy the Kid, who was shot by Sheriff Pat Garrett in 1881. Like Britain, America had ways to control crime, but for a long time there was no formal police force, and so the job of keeping folks in line often went to private contractors such as the Pinkerton National Detective Agency. Systems including night watchmen and even what some called goons for hire weren't workable as the USA grew in population. It's thought that the first American formal police force was created in Boston in 1838, New York City followed in 1845, and by the 1880s, just about all American cities had an organized police force. Now that we know something about the history of these two countries' police forces, let's look at the present day. The number of police officers in just England and Wales has decreased significantly in the last decade, which has become a major political issue in the UK. The number in 2016 of officers in the force was 124,066, down from 143,769 7 years before that. The number of full-time officers working in Scotland in 2016 was 17,242, and the number in Northern Ireland was 6,773. That's a total of 148,081 police officers working all over the United Kingdom. The population of the UK is 65.64 million, so roughly there is one police officer for every 448 people. Much of the British media and the public are saying that is not enough, especially as the crime rate rise in the UK is rising faster than it has in a decade. This includes a rise in violent crimes and homicide. Over the pond in the USA, crime rates are much higher, and as some police departments are looking more like military units, the role of police in society has met with some controversy. Finding the actual number
Dude, I'm telling you, man, they're rolling like the army. They got armored cars and stuff. You know, sometimes you see them coming, and you think there's a war going on. The thing, you know what I mean? They got tactical gear. You know what I mean? It's tactical gear just to go search somebody place and thing. You know, they rolling stacked. You know what I mean? It's like it's transformed to, you know, cops were there to help, and now cops were there just to see. And I'm talking about here where I am. You know what I mean? They're just there to see if you. In a lot of the cases, depending on who you are, socioeconomical status and stuff, you're guilty until proven innocent. You have to prove yourself innocent. You know, they don't roll up on you. And like, I've been stopped several times by cops, you know what I mean? And in my case, I've turned it into a comedy skit, you know, because they'll roll up and say, hey, we're looking for somebody that match your description. And the first thing I say is, was he 7 feet tall? I was coming home from work one night and walking home, and a couple of policemen pull up on me, you know what I mean? And they're like, hey, we're looking for somebody, you know what I mean? And I said, all right. He said, they asked me my name, told him my name, and I said, well, what was the description? Did they say he was 7 feet tall? And the minute I said that, the cops started laughing. Because there ain't no some other 7-foot tall people in here unless they're playing basketball in the college down there. But I'm pretty much the only 7-foot tall person living in this city. And they started laughing and they go, well, he ain't the one. You know, before that, it used to be, you know, not as cordial. But I work at a grocery store now and they all come in there so they know who I am. But, you know, let's keep going.
Number of sworn police officers working in the USA in 2016 isn't that easy. This is because figures given by the US Bureau of Justice Statistics haven't been updated in a few years. The total number of police agencies in the US is around 18,000, but that includes all branches of police. If we take just local police departments, that number is more like 15,500, according to PolitiFact. The old data that is often cited says that in 2008, there were 765,000 officers that had the power to make an arrest. The US Department of Justice gives the number of 750,340 for 2012. According to the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial Fund, that number has shot up and is presently about 900,000. The US population is 323.1 million, so that means that roughly there is one cop for every 359 people. One of the major differences is that in the USA, police carry guns, as do 36% of American households, according to the Washington Post. It's reported that in 2016,
dude, it's a gun thing. It's a gun thing up here. You know, I was talking to a policeman friend of mine's, and you know, like on the island, we have the same policing structure like they have in England, in Britain, England, whatever you want to call it. But they don't have guns. They don't walk around with guns and stuff. So I was telling him that, and he was like, man, I wouldn't know what I would do without my gun. And I was like, help people? That's what you're there for. You know what I mean? Help people? You know, and there was another story. I was okay, when I first came to this country, I landed in the Miami airport. And I remember sitting there, and mind you, I had just come from 2 revolutions and a war. So, you know, I was kind of used to seeing that 4-year span of time, people used to walk around with guns. The police still didn't have guns, but they had an army, and they used to walk around with a side piece on and stuff. But, you know, it was just like friends of mine acting, oh yeah, you know, big and bad with a gun and thing like that. And I remember sitting at the Miami airport, and I'm seeing... And that was 3 years removed from all the revolutions and then the invasion back home. And see these people walking around with guns and uniforms, you know, and I kind of knew they were policemen, but I guess I didn't, the extent of all the arms and stuff, you know, the side pocket. I mean, they stacked up there, you know what I mean? I'm surprised they don't have grenades and thing on the belt. But you know, I remember turning to somebody and asking them, is there a war going on? And it's like, what do you mean? I said, all these people out here with guns, you know, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? So that was like a culture shock to me, you know what I mean? They're all just walking around here with guns and stuff, you know, and that's just totally different to what, like, on the island, my grandfather was a police, my dad was a policeman. Uncles were policemen, cousins were policemen. So, you know, I was raised around policemen and knowing policemen because the families, there was a lot of policemen in the family. And they never had guns. My dad had a gun, but they weren't allowed to carry it around and thing, you know what I mean? So it took some getting used to. And I remember purposefully staying away from them, especially coming from, the revolutions and the invasion. I just stay away from them because they had guns. Didn't feel safe. You know what I mean? I don't know why people think having a gun makes them feel safe. And a lot of you going to disagree with me. But after the things I see, I don't feel safe. I don't care who's got the gun. Because nowadays, as you know, what's going on here, I don't trust nobody with no guns. And now you have people walking around with guns, man. I work at the grocery store, and people are coming in with the guns in the holster and stuff. That's other than the cops. I was working at a toy store, for crying out loud, and there's kids running over there. And this guy came in with a big old gun on his side. It's like, who you gonna kill but your own people? Who you gonna kill but your own people? Let's go
16, 135 police officers died in the line of duty, with around half of those that died being fatally shot. The Guardian reports that the number of officers killed in the line of duty in the UK is a total of 11 since 2010, although many officers are assaulted in the UK. In 2015, it was reported that 23,000 assaults occurred against officers in just England and Wales. In 2017, the Police Federation of England and Wales reported this figure to be not even close to the real number. It said there were 2.4 million assaults in 2016, meaning an officer was attacked every 13 seconds that year. 300,000 of them involved attacks with deadly weapons. The report said the average police officer is assaulted 19 times a year. On the other hand, in the USA in 2016, police officers killed a total of 1,093 people. According to Inquest.org, in the UK in 2016, a total of...
And there's a lot of people, and I've noticed that it depends on the ethnicity of the person, and and this is besides the police here now. I'm talking about the way people think. I work with this lady, and she's always talking about, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him. You know what I mean? And she keeps saying that to me, and she came and she gave me, so I don't watch the news much anymore because it's all craziness. Show me this picture, and it's a black woman with dreadlocks, and she said the woman had shot somebody that come into the house. What would I do? Well, if I had a gun, I'd probably shoot them in the leg and the arm or something. And she's like, no, they come into my house, I'm killing them. And I was like, if I'm in here, this is my apartment here, and somebody break in the door, even if I had a gun, I'm going out the window. I'm going about my business. They could take the computer, but I ain't shooting nobody. You know what I mean? I could replace the computer. But my conscience is not going to let me go, pow, pow, yeah, you tried to steal my computer. My computer is worth, what, $1,000 for a life? No. Have at it, bruh. My conscience is going to be cleared, you know what I mean? And she just keep going, I said, some people have a bad day. Let's say you have a bad day here at work, and you and a customer get into it, and the customer is coming at you, and you pick up a bottle, and you try to hit the customer, and the policeman come in and shoots you. Does that make you a bad person because they shoot you because you was going after that person? No, people have bad days. And with the discussion span from, I think recently a 16-year-old girl was shot here. You know what I mean? She's going after somebody with a knife. She's going after somebody with a knife. And she just keep going on. And I said, and I explained to her where I'm from. I've seen people go after cops with machetes and they still subdue them and took the machete and nobody got hurt. Dude ended up being a good citizen. He had a bad day. And she's still like, well, you shoot him. I said, that's the difference, I guess, in culture. We kind of respect life, whatever kind of life it is. And then, of course, to come back with well, what if a child is a pedophile? And I was like, no, you're going in a whole different direction there. I'm talking about ordinary citizens who have bad days. You're supposed to talk them down and talk to them. Don't just shoot them. You know what I mean? And thing, it's crazy. So let's keep. So the mentality of the police sort of mirrors the mentality, or vice versa, of the people. People just think they should just shoot people. Oh, you know what I mean? The cop shot him. He should have complied. And he's a criminal. And there's a jaywalking ticket on there. Like he's a criminal. Like they don't jaywalk every day. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. So, the people have a lot to do with the way, or some of the people have a lot to do with the way, people react. And I ain't going to bash no policemen because I have a lot of guys know that the policemen here, I've become friendly with them because then here's the thing I'm always talking about. Break it down to the human element. When I talk to them, I'm not talking to a policeman. I'm talking to a fellow human being. And that's the same courtesy I expect. When you talk to me like a fellow human being. Not like somebody who's potentially doing something wrong. And it seems like there's a potentially doing something wrong attitude when people are approached.
5 people were shot and killed by police. The total number of people shot and killed in the UK since 1990 is 67. We should add here that regular cops in the UK don't carry guns, but armed police can be called when it's thought guns are needed.
When the time is right.
Northern Ireland are different, routinely carrying firearms. According to the newspaper The Mirror, in 2016 there were 1,863,524 legally owned guns in Wales and England, most of which were shotguns. It's thought there are another 277,000 guns in Scotland and a further 150,000 legally owned guns in Northern Ireland. The same newspaper said there were another 2 million illegally owned guns on the UK streets, which has raised the question if the UK police should be given firearms. The murder rate per capita in the US is still 30 times higher than in the UK, which might not be surprising considering there are more guns than people in the country, according to the Washington Post. As for assaults on officers, there were 51,548 assaults against US police officers in 2015, with a total of 14,453 injuries sustained. With this in mind, how does life on the job compare between the two forces, and how do you even get a job as a police officer? In the UK, you can join when you are 18. There are no restrictions on height, but the force does ask you to be in good enough physical and mental shape to undertake police duties. No formal qualifications are required, but you will need to pass some tests to get in. Pass them, and you are in, just as long as you haven't committed any serious offenses in the past. It's similar in the US, although the police force does usually ask for a high school diploma, and that you are either 18 or 21 depending on the department. You'll have to train at a police academy and have either a clean criminal record or have only committed minor offenses. There is no minimum or maximum height or weight limit, but in the academy you'll have to pass certain physical agility tests. Nowhere does it state you have to enjoy eating donuts. Wages vary, but in England, Wales, and Northern Ireland, you can expect to start your career as a police constable on anything from $25,000 US to $30,000. If you work hard, UK career websites say that within about 7 years, that wage can be $48,872 US. You should work a 40-hour week, although police work can often mean overtime and also emergency callouts. You'll get 23 days annual leave and also full sick pay. The pension varies depending on time worked, but the average police pension in the UK is thought to be around $20,465 a year, and the normal retirement age is 60. In the US, salaries differ from state to state, but a rookie cop working in the NYPD can expect to earn $46,288 per year. After 5.5 years, this could rise to $90,829 if you have done well. Other states have average wages closer to $30,000 and others $70,000 according to career website Cron. You'll get 10 days paid vacation to start with, but after 5 years it will increase to 27 days. You'll also receive unlimited fully paid sick days, medical benefits, dental benefits, and optional retirement after 22 years on the force. Like the UK, you will work around 40 hours a week in shifts, but that might change with overtime. How much pension you receive can be affected by multiple factors, but various websites put the average police pension anywhere from $58,000 to $62,000. With money in mind, we'll end the show there. Where would you rather be a cop, the UK or the US? Let us...
No, check this out. In the UK, they don't have guns. And yeah, they get assaulted. And then here, they all have guns and they still get assaulted. So then what's the solution? I mean, how do you fix that? You have to fix the society, and that's a whole new thing there. You have to fix the society, you have to fix the mentality, you have to fix the us against them mentality in everything. You know what I mean? Or else, because here, minorities are complaining that stuff is happening to them more than anybody else. Like I said, I used to get stopped all the time. I remember one time I was walking down a street, an alley actually, and I'm walking down this alley, and there was cops in there. There was 2 cop cars. The alley is blocked, and the siren, and there's cops standing there, and and I'm walking a poodle, wearing a dress. Yes. So they stopped me and asked me where I'm going, and or what I'm doing, and I said, I'm walking a poodle wearing a dress. And the poodle is going to go use the bathroom, And they, one of them said, "You got a smart mouth, boy." It's like, what? Where did that come from? You know what I mean? And come to find out, they were looking for two white girls. You know, apparently a 7-foot tall black man equals two white girls. You know, but usually, and you know, usually, like I said, I stay away. I stay away from criminals. I stay away from cops. I stay away from everything like that as much as possible. Never been to a police station here in this country. I don't know. And I don't know why I went to the police station. But when I first came here, I went to the police station in the small town that I live in, at the college where I played basketball. And I was so uncomfortable. All these guns everywhere. And I know you hear me saying, I have a problem with guns, man. I have a problem with guns. And it's like, yeah, the cops don't need guns here because everybody's got guns. You don't know what is going on when you get to the scene and stuff, you know? I mean, like I said, I work in a grocery store and you see people coming in there with guns in the holster. It's like the wild, wild west out here. I'm not saying it's prevalent and to the point where every other person you see a gun, but you know, it's always unnerving. And some of the people you see coming with guns, it's like, man, you shouldn't even have a driver's license, much as a license to carry a gun. So it's always unnerving for me. I don't like guns. I absolutely don't like guns. I didn't even let my son play with toy guns. That's how much I don't like guns. You know what I mean? And just to hear my friend says, what would I do with my gun? And I said, help people. You know what I mean? Like if you're bricking on the side of the street, chances are a cop will drive by and not ask you if you need help. This happened to me before because everybody else has got guns. They don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? So, and then it's just crazy. It's just crazy. You know what I mean? I've never called a cop here in my life. You know what I mean? I just avoid stuff. I don't call them, man. I was living across the street here, and this guy, he's like, what, 5 feet 6 inches tall? Was going after the landlady. I guess he was dating somebody in the building and she would open the door. He was banging on doors, and I threatened him a couple of times to stop banging on my door. He was just banging on everybody's doors. So the building manager had a broken leg. She came out and was trying to tell him to stop. And I heard him running at her, so I opened the door and he stopped, you know what I mean? So she called the cops. I went to open the door, and what did the cops do? And I'm thinking, you looking for a 5'6" person and you putting a gun on a 7-foot tall brother. Well, what's up with that? You know what I mean? I said, I'm not calling them, man. I'm not calling them. You know what I mean? Call me. I'll walk away from conflict. You know, if it's not a life-threatening situation, and I haven't been in those here, luckily, I'm not calling them, man. No, they bring guns. But anyway, man, it's just crazy up here. You know what I mean? You know, it's crazy. It's all that gun thing I go on and stuff. Anyway, man, thank you all for watching this with me. I ain't gonna babble on. So I got plenty of stories. There's a second installment of my book coming. The first one is called Dirty Immigrant. The link is in the description, and there's stories in there about that too and my encounters with that. So you know, y'all could check it out. You could get it on the Kindle Fire, I think it's called Kindle, yeah. And there's also hard book copies, but I talk about stuff like that in there, and the book is mainly funny stories. You know, if you see, I'm laughing about it. But I'm babbling. I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope you guys are, you know, take care of each other, man. Take care of each other. We fighting too much, and we fighting about stuff we can't really do anything about. Let's talk about the things that we could do something about, you know what I'm saying, and try to fix that, because, you know, I like to think it's going to be a domino effect if we fix one thing. Get people used to wanting to fix stuff instead of arguing about stuff all the time. This doesn't solve anything. We just argue and argue and argue and argue. That's why I don't watch the news and stuff anymore, because the news is not the news. It's just people arguing. Why do I want to watch that? Anyway, man, y'all take care of each other. Please do that. Cool runnings, okay?